Magnificent day of racing, and even the weather is looking really good as well, so it's great to be here at Royal Randwick. But it doesn't stop there. The action is throughout the country, and of course Caulfield is not playing second fiddle at all. He's got the Sir Rupert Clarke Stakes, an iconic race, and of course Damien Oliver, his first ever Group 1 win was in the Sir Rupert Clarke back in 1990, so he's going to hopefully do it again on showmanship. The George Main Stakes today, we get to see Animo back again, and of course how could we not mention the shorts. I'm so excited to see these sprinters do battle, especially Nature Strip.
Oh, Lizzie, what a day we've got in store. So you mentioned Caulfield and how strong it is. So let's go and join Richo for the first time today. And Jason's going to give us the weather. And
Well, Group 1 race day here at Caulfield. A really chilly week and a chilly day today. And I arrived at the track thinking we're going to be on a wet track, but certainly not. A soft 6 track at the moment. And I think with this wind that's around at the moment, check out how, woof, the wind is certainly going to be a factor today. I reckon horses will want a little bit of cover down that back there, and then they'll emerge out into the straight and storm late over the top. So with that wind around, we're on a soft 6 track, and I actually think there's a chance that we could get to a soft 5. Now look, it's damp because it's just had a little shower. Respecting some showers throughout the day today. Hopefully they'll just be a little nuisance and they won't affect this track, because we are ready. A Group 1 race day. The Sir Rupert Clarke Stakes, won 6 times by Ollie, 6 times by Willow. I reckon Ollie can win with showmanship.
he's an energiser, isn't he? And now I felt great a moment ago. I feel even better now, don't you? What about your horses to watch?
Oh, so much to look forward to today, but have to land on Animo in the George Main Stakes. He's the one to watch for me. He announced himself first up in the Winks. If he does it today in the George Main, he's the dominant weight for age horse. Well, this guy, he took on the rest of the world, beat them, but now he's got to beat his old...
We've had one race here. It's going to be a wonderful day's racing. Animo, can he do something that no Godolphin horse has done in this country? We'll tell you more about that a little bit later on. So race number 2, not too far away from Royal Randwick. And then, of course, Caulfield kicks in. At the start, we mentioned the shorts and the George Main and the other races. We talk about a rich list. Have a look at some of the horses that are running today and where they sit on the all-time list.
It's quite incredible, isn't it, with the boosted prize money.
That's the rich list. Let's go to Matt Hill for his preview of Caulfield. Here's Matt.
Cometh the hour, cometh the legend.
Bruce, thank you very much. A historic day here at Caulfield, the Rupert Clarke Stakes, a time-honoured race, of course, formerly the Show Day Cup. It's been a terrific race over the years, an out-and-out handicap where usually horses down the bottom of the weights get a real opportunity. Ayrton comes into the race as a fascinating runner, a real grand final first up for Ayrton after being down the track in the Stradbroke. Won over 1,400 metres at this course in the Victoria Handicap, and it was so comfortable earlier on in the autumn. The big concern is the rain that's coming towards Melbourne, and if we get anything worse than a soft 6, Ayrton will not run. They will scratch him. Showmanship's a fascinating horse, was favourite for this race 2 years ago before breaking down and almost to have the race at its mercy. 2 years on, it'll start one of the favourites. It's won 8 from 10, and Damien Oliver knows how to win this race. He's won it 6 times. Craig Williams has also won it 6 times. A fascinating renewal of the Rupert Clarke, a terrific undercard with the Guineas Preludes. Hope that rain stays away. We're in for a beauty. Looking forward to calling it for you.
Good calling to you. The rain has not staying away here at Royal Randwick. Can you believe it, Lizzie?
No, I can't believe it. Actually, now it's, well, it's certainly stopped at the moment, but that was a significant rain band, and I think there is one on the way. So it's really unfortunate, but hopefully our weather prediction is our tips are better than our weather predictions, Bruce.
Well, we've started all right. Richo, 5 stakes races today. Now, they've waxed and waned over the years, but if you look at the races that are being run today, there are a couple of kings in the saddle today, aren't there?
Oh, they certainly are. Craig Williams and also Damien Oliver. I spoke about that as I was doing my track report. Both won this great race on 6 occasions. Willow started with barely a moment, and then Rawaya, wasn't she a terrific mare? Ditto with the Response. The Stallion, Turak Toff and Stratum Star and Behemoth are his winners of the Rupert Clarke, and he's been fantastic in a How Now and 1,000 Guineas Prelude and the Naturalism as well. So Craig with 6 Rupert Clarkes, 14 stakes wins, if you don't mind. He can do it on a top weight like Behemoth and really lighten the weights with the good mares. And then Well, this is where it all started for Ollie. He won his first Rupert Clarke Stakes on Submariner. The mighty Testarossa as well put on a clinic. Orange County is his last win in the race, though. That's way back in 2008, the grey coming down the centre of the track. And I think he gets his big chance to win again today with showmanship.
What do you think about Willow? Well, you're going with Jamie.
I've gone with Jamie today, yes. She's got Graceful Girl. She's got Chain of Lightning, who is Dino's best bet. Aft Cabin was also in his black book as well, so I'm pretty happy with that. And Les Cars is another one of her great chances. But Jamie and both James have got terrific book of rides, and I think that they'll be taking out honours today at Randwick and Caulfield.
Chris Waller, no surprise, Lizzie, but he's absolutely sort of owned the George Main, hasn't he? But he's had a remarkable day with the other stakes races as well. You think about Winks, of course, in the George Main, and more recently Very Elegant, don't you?
Absolutely. He's won 8 George Mains, and he's trying to make it 9 today. But not only that, he's had such a significant day. When you look at him, the Kingston Town, he's also won the Bill Ritchie 5 times and a T-Rose twice, and he's got terrific chances in all of them.
He hasn't won the shorts.
No.
And he has got Nature Strip in today.
That's always a bit of a concern when you've got a horse like Nature Strip who can be up and down, but I reckon he's got a pretty good chance.
There's such a lot of up. Hugh Bowman, of course. No, just on Chris, too, just before we go, he wasn't going to be here today, but unfortunately he can't go to Her Majesty's funeral. He was selected as one of 10 Australians. What an honour for Chris and the others. Dylan Alcott is a name that comes to mind, but it's such bad luck for Chris because he had such a connection with Her Majesty, didn't he?
He really did, especially in the latter part of her life as well. But not only was Chris Waller invited, we saw Gay and Rob Waterhouse, also David Hayes and Prue, his wife, were invited as well. And they were all significant trainers over here in Australia. And I do know in the UK there is a number of trainers who have been invited. Certainly Sir Michael Stout and Ryan Moore come to mind. They are definitely going to her funeral, and I think it's a really wonderful nod to her passion, which was racing.
No, absolutely. Chris Waller, you think about James McDonald and Hugh Bowman immediately, don't you? So Hugh Bowman also on this day, like Damien Oliver and also Craig Williams, has had remarkable success. He was up and about earlier today, wasn't he?
He certainly was. I listened to him on the radio this morning and he just sounded as though he was in really great form. Of course, he rode a few winners on Wednesday as well. He had one yesterday and he's just in great order. 6 T-Rose Stakes, 4 George Mains, courtesy of Winks, 4 shorts, so he's done something that Chris Waller hasn't done, and 4 Kingston Town. So he's got plenty of good luck on this day.
The big Group 1. It's got a terrific history, this race. From the 1950s, it was a very different type of race, and we'll tell you why through the day.
This is their last chance. Who makes the grand final? Will the Magpies' miracle run go all the way? Or will Sydney make it their swan song? Who makes the grand final? Today, live and free on 7.
First run in 1951 as the Invitation Stakes. The Sir Rupert Clarke Stakes was renamed after the former chairman of the VATC in 2005.
Jungle Cat who claws away, got up I think.
Prior to 1994, it was held on Royal Melbourne Show Day.
Mannerism flying on the outside, Black Rose just in front, Mannerism on the outside, grabbing it, Mannerism!
And Caulfield's 1400 metre Group 1 handicap has regularly attracted big fields of quality sprinters
Costo de Lago!
and resuming middle distance runners.
Testarossa digs deep, finds and wins. Racing in the Group 1.
In 2017, it unearthed up-and-coming sprinter Santa Ana Lane.
Santa Ana Lane is charging home and will get up.
While in 2019, the Sir Rupert Clarke provided one of the feel-good stories of the spring.
Joined and headed by Be Good to Your Mother into the
When Irish jockey Declan Bates and young Warrnambool trainer Daniel Bowman each claimed their first Group 1.
Be Good to Your Mother, still going well at the 100, leads a length and a half. There's a big party at the Bull tonight.
So it's got such a history, hasn't it? And with those jockeys earlier on and those top class horses, you've seen Testarossa this week, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I was out at Vinery Stud yesterday filming some new Ole Kirk foals, and I got to see Testarossa, and he is having a lovely retired lifestyle out in a big paddock, just what I would like to do when I'm retired.
That's a fair way off, don't you worry about that. Hey, Richard, all those invitation jockeys, I know the South Australians, the Western Australians, they came here with success, but Roy Higgins and Harry White had a great duel in 1973. Such different styles, these two jockeys, but so good.
Oh, so good. Handbrake Harry, who became synonymous with the Melbourne Cup, and then the Professor in Roy Higgins, who was the iconic jockey of his era and one of the greatest of all time. Look at him battling it out. Wasn't this wonderful vision way back in the 1970s? Always been a great race. And the thing I love about it, Bruce and Lizzie, is also the big handicap with a good spread in the weights. It's always a ripper.
It is. 73, so Millfleur's over Toltrees. Richard, another great mare, even greater than them, Very Elegant. It was a much better run, wasn't it, last Monday morning Australian time in the Pre-Foy? Enough to take them to the Arc with any confidence, or do they go somewhere else on that day?
Well, enough to push on. I think that's the key. She showed a zest for racing, and that's what they wanted to see. She led there and she was up for the fight, so she had a bit of that sparkle back in her eyes. So now they've got a decision to make. Is that good enough to go to an Arc, which I think is the best race in the world? Well, it's become a little easier because Bayeed's not going that way. Or do they run at a mares race on Arc Day, a Group 2 race over 2,400 metres on, you would imagine, a rain-affected track? They may go the easier option, but the good news is I'm sure they'll push on.